My Love is Real is the directorial debut for Washington, D.C. area filmmaker Russell Mack Simon, and he's in the studio with us today. Russell, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so it's your directorial debut. First off, if you could just give the audience a summary of the film and what it's all about.
It's about a young professional guy who's engaged to be married, and his relationship falls apart when his affair is discovered, essentially.
Okay.
It's sort of about when you look back on the painful sort of parts of love, is what you were feeling real? Is it not real? Are all your emotions being clouded by what's going on around you?
And what inspired you to make the film?
I wanted to make a short film, like you said, it's my first, and actually I started casting about for scripts. I actually didn't want to write one myself, and I read a couple scripts and nothing was actually really striking me. So I just sort of sat down and started writing, and a couple weeks later, I had My Love is Real. And awesome. I mean, I've had relationships in the past, you know, but I think one of the things that stuck out to me about the relationships is looking back on them, you always tell yourself, you know, I was deluded, or I didn't really feel what I felt. I was sort of being led astray.
Right.
And I wanted to make a film that sort of treated what you're feeling at the moment as sort of authentic, instead of looking back on them and thinking, oh, you know, I wasn't really in love, you know, I was just sort of, you know, making mistakes or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I gotta ask you, one of the things that I love about the film is the way that it's edited.
Oh.
So some of the times, you know, you're hearing the non-diegetic, and then it becomes diegetic in terms of like you actually hear what the person is saying, then you actually see it on screen. For those that don't know what that means. But just talk about the decision making in terms of how you edited it, because I really thought that was really well done.
Well, thank you. Well, there's two things. There's a serious one and a not serious one. The serious one is from the start, I wanted the characters to sort of be disconnected from their voices, which you'll see a lot of in the film. And, you know, the purpose of that is just sort of, you know, feeling disconnected from yourself, essentially. Is this an interior monologue, or is it something that you're remembering accurately? So you'll see some of that in the film. And another part of it is just, I think I was trying to be pretty ruthless in terms of the time, you know. Some other scenes that I had written, you know, it was my writing. You know, I got into the editing room and I just said, you know, cut it, you know. So mashing the scenes together, like you'll see in the film, is also sort of a way to make the film move faster.
Right, yeah, no, and it totally works, and it does so in an engaging way, which is something that I really enjoyed about it. Let's talk about production for a little bit. How long did it take to make the film?
So yeah, I'd never made a movie before. I really had no idea what I was doing at all. My girlfriend had produced a couple of documentaries before, and so she was my producer. And so between her and I, we sort of handled all the logistics. You know, I wrote the film, I think, January, February of last year. By April, I was casting it. By June, I was shooting it, rehearsing and shooting it. And then I wrapped up editing about 2 months later.
Wow.
And I rehearsed it one weekend and shot it 2 weekends later.
Jeez, that's awesome. So did you grow up, like, did you go to film school and all that stuff? I should have asked that.
No, I never went to any film school. You know, I was a reporter in my original career, and but I did do a lot of acting in school, and in high school and in college and in grad school, and I was not the greatest actor in the world, but I was always looking around at other actors sort of thinking they should be doing this or they should be doing that, or like we should be staging this scene differently. And so I always did want to direct, you know, something that was narrative and original, and so everything else that I had to learn, I just sort of taught myself as I went.
All right, so talk about maybe one of the biggest challenges you had to overcome while you were, you know, filming the movie.
You know, casting, I think, was actually sort of a challenge for me, and I didn't know if it was going to work out for a while. I was casting for a couple weeks, and I had, you know, a lot of actors come through, and I actually had trouble finding like a male lead actor for this. And I think probably because I had something very specific in my mind, And I know that so many things can go wrong making a movie. You know, like one thing will basically make it a bad movie. And I really didn't want, you know, to cast someone who basically I was like, it made the movie not work.
Right.
And it was really like and I was actually resolved just not to do the movie. I was like, I'm not going to do this until I find someone. You know, I'll shoot it next year.
Awesome.
I'll shoot it whenever I find someone.
Right.
And I found someone the last day, and like he wasn't even going to come audition. Finally, he texted. He's like, "Yeah, I'm going to come." And he auditioned, and I said, "You're the guy," and I offered him the part on the spot. And
I love how stuff like that happens. You know, like one, for you to have the dogness to say, "Look, I know what I want, and I'm not going to do it until I get it right." And then this is hilarious that he's like, I might come, I might not, and he winds up being the guy. That's awesome.
yeah.
What was one of your favorite memories just on set and things like that?
I mean, I was stressed on set. I had people who definitely my cinematographer had a lot more experience than I did making movies. And like I said, my producer girlfriend, she had been working on movies before. And my actors were professional actors, you know, they'd all worked. I was the one who had never worked on a movie before. And so what I remember from being on set is basically like being stressed out over doing what you said, which is sort of saying, no, I want it this way. And sometimes my cinematographer or DP, he would turn to me and be like, so that's what you want? Yeah, do that.
Right.
Like, are you sure?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we're doing it.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown, right?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, well, cool. So this is a great film. I believe this is a premiere at Rosebud, correct?
It is, yeah.
Awesome.
It is a premiere, yeah.
That's cool. I'm sure you're gonna have plans for the film, you know, past Rosebud. Are you shopping it around now? What's going on?
You know, it was my first. It was sort of, you know, how do I do this whole thing? It is going to play at DCIFF, DC Independent Film Festival, at the end of February. And after that, I'm going to put it online, you know, on Vimeo or VHX or something to the effect, and just put it out there. I mean, since this, I've shot another short film, and now I'm working on developing a TV series, so I've got other projects to move on to.
Awesome.
And this will go live online somewhere, and that'll be that.
That's cool. Yeah, you definitely got to make the festival rounds, but it's an awesome film. Can you pitch the TV series, or are you keeping that under wraps?
I think the TV series is great. It's called District Land. It's based off of a play that was at Capitol Fringe Festival that sold out, and it's about 4 sort of DC archetypes living in a group house together.
Nice.
Yeah.
Friends.
It's like Alpha House, a little bit of girls thrown in there.
Okay.
Sort of, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing more from you. Where can people find you? I know you don't have the film online yet, but where can people find you if they wanted to?
I have a production company. It's called City Different Media. So it's all on citydifferentmedia.com, and the trailer's on there, and eventually the full film will be on there.
Awesome. Well, Russell, thanks for coming on the show, man. Best of luck to you tomorrow.
Thank you, Kevin.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.